Today we're here to talk about medical underwriting and all the issues surrounding it. I'm here with Laurent Pochat-Cotilloux, CEO of XL Life and Health Reinsurance Solutions, and Ms. Rachel Edwards, Global Managing Director, Life, Health and Travel at Verisk. So from your different perspectives, right, of underwriting and from a reinsurer, what are some of the existing challenges that the reinsurance industry faces when it comes to medical underwriting? Laurent, why don't you start first?
All right. So first of all, I think you need to narrow it down to a kind of a type of product, right? So there's life insurance and health insurance. Medical underwriting is quite a different process for these two products. I'm mostly involved in health insurance, and for health insurance, the pain points are very exhaustive medical questionnaire that our customers have to fill in so that we can, understand their past medical histories. And this is a long process, a bit cumbersome, quite difficult for the customer to really understand what we're driving at with those questions that can be very medically complicated. So I would say the main pain point is inconvenience time, and sometimes even a lot of our customers don't even complete the medical underwriting process because of this, the complexity and length of time it takes.
How about you, Rachel?
I think there's a few challenges. Digitization, I would say, is just one of the fundamental processes or challenges faced across the industry. So a lot of insurers or reinsurers are at different stages of their digitization journey. And if we think about a customer applying for a health insurance policy, as at the point at which Laurent references someone has a medical condition, quite often a digital straight-through process is broken. And it enters either a really long, lengthy medical underwriting questionnaire process that's quite often then supported through a manual intervention through a medical underwriting team. And enabling a digital journey is needed, still in development, but it's one of the challenges of the market. And then coupled with that is, if it's not digitized, quite often we're not collecting the data.
Yeah.
And the data is really important to inform underwriting decisions, understand claims risk, but also to help develop models over time. And everyone's talking about AI. If you don't have the data in the first place, how do we develop AI models that can revolutionize medical underwriting? But then you need the products as well to be more product inclusive, to be capturing risk, to be capturing data, to inform understanding, to inform models. So it's a bit cyclical in my world. You need the digital foundation, you need the data, and you need the products. So there's a few challenges, I think.
And so, what kind of innovations and solutions have been introduced to the market to deal with some of these issues that you've been talking about? Rachel?
We've known for quite a while that the process is quite, for customers, but also for reinsurers as well as insurers, it's quite segmented. Having that digital capability through which medical underwriting can be completed within the customer journey, within the sales process, can really help inform real-time underwriting and dynamic pricing. So our product has really been focused on embedding an underwriting capability within a digital capability that can be put straight in front of a customer, independent of how that product's being distributed, via an agency, via a bank. That digital capability has been a priority for us. But that only goes so far. Obviously, it needs to be a meaningful understanding of risk presented as a result of the pre-existing medical conditions being declared by an individual. And when I say meaningful representation of risk, it's the risk that's being assessed and carried by the reinsurers, by the insurers. If the risk, if the algorithms, if the data that's being used doesn't speak directly to the exposure, the claims exposures that represent in the context of health insurance, then there's going to be very little evolution when it comes to more inclusivity, more dynamic pricing. So when we developed our solution, we've recognised you can't use mortality risk as a proxy, or even morbidity risk as a proxy in isolation. You need to look at each individual condition, how it progresses, the stability of that condition and the likelihood of it making a claim. But you have to couple that with the significance of the claim in terms of size. And those are the two elements put together that should inform the risk. That increases hopefully the confidence of reinsurers and insurers to say, okay, I now understand this risk. I can price this risk dynamically. I can be more inclusive of risk, and then understand what it's going to do, good, bad, to my portfolio. So they're the two bits that we've really focused on, with hopefully being able to help a more inclusive underwriting approach and dynamic pricing.
Right. So what about from the reinsurance industry? Have there been any innovations and solutions to solve medical underwriting challenges?
I think the core of our problem here is that we're still relying, by and large, insurers are still relying on underwriting approaches that were designed 20, 30 years ago, when the buying public was a lot healthier than today. Okay, today there's people present in the kind of age segment where they buy insurance, which is from 30 to 50 years old, come to us with worse BMIs, with some diabetes often, with some hypertension, some asthma, many more pre-existing conditions.
Right.
And my clients, insurance companies, typically when anyone presents with a pre-existing condition, their first reflex is to exclude it from coverage. Okay, you're not covered for whatever you told us, and still attempt to sell a policy with the standard premium. So the innovation we've really been pursuing is, if we continue to do that, you're losing 30% of your potential sales. But if you're attempting to cover these pre-existing conditions, you're more inclusive in the sense that you're providing more coverage. You can sell these policies with slightly more premium loadings to cover this extra risk. Your sales channels are happier because they've got a higher conversion rate. And what we've seen so far partnering with Verisk in many of our markets is that the claims outcomes roughly match what the tool is giving us as a premium loading. So we charge more premium, we pay more claims for these pre-existing conditions, but roughly speaking, these outcomes still satisfy our actuaries. I think most of the innovation we see and we will continue to see in this medical underwriting space will be about more seamless underwriting, more inclusive outcomes, providing more coverage for more people, to allow for the product to be sold more widely to today's customers.
Right. Okay. In the 4 to 5 years you've been partnering with Verisk, what have you noticed in your own business? How has it improved? How has it changed? What is the impact Verisk's innovations and solutions have brought to AXA?
Well, as I said, there's implementing an automated medical underwriting tool, or medical underwriting automation of any kind, in particular Verisk solutions, has resulted in our partners, insurance companies, being able to sell more products at the right price to more people, offering more inclusive coverage. So we end up with a more efficient sales process, in effect, that satisfies more customers, and that's great because we're all, our mission as an industry is to plug the protection gap as much as we can and help people live longer, healthier, happier lives. To do that well, you need to be able to tailor what you're offering to every individual's medical history. And that's very difficult to do with a manual process. It's time intensive, it's labor intensive. And technology is now here available to do these things at scale, with a very high rate of straight-through applications in a way that is invisible to the customer. It's all hidden, all that complexity is hidden from the customer.
Okay, so I think that was a great conversation. That was all I had. Are there any closing thoughts that you might have that you want to share with our audience?
I think we're at the start of the journey as an industry. I think that all the medical underwriting capability, it evolves over time. Our job is to make sure that any claims experience, any evolution in medical conditions, any change in treatment programs is embedded into our underwriting approach, into our risk assessment, so that again it continues to be informative and really valuable in the assessment of our partners' customer base. So I think it's a lifelong mission. You know, I like personally the fact that we're facilitating access to more insurance for individuals who want it, and that we can do that in a way that's profitable and meaningful to reinsurers and insurers. So that continues to motivate and is an important mission for us.
Yeah, I mean, just to reiterate, this feedback loop from claims back into adapting the tools we're using is super important, because medical technology never stands still. The risk continues to evolve, and we're also moving into a new area, like taking into account the lifestyle of the customer, not just their past medical history. So there's still a lot to do, and it's never completed.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.